zeranol, is that something that we should be concerned about in like grass-fed animals, or is this only in like, is there anything in place to keep all of this out of what ends up being a grass-fed animal or finished animal?
Sure. And thank you. That's a huge question. You and Mark just ate a beef stick I had in my office.
Yeah.
The reason I bought that brand, and I went through 20 of them, is it says grass-fed. That doesn't mean much to me. All cows are grass-fed. But then it said free of zearalenone, free of hormones.
Okay.
Yeah, free of antibiotics, free of hormones.
Good to know.
Grass finished is a buzz line. It's like natural.
Yeah.
Grass finished.
Like, what does that really?
I'm sorry, grass fed is a buzz line because all cows eat grass at some time in their life. And then the FDA, the governing bodies, allow them to load up on corn before they slaughter them, because those carbs, little did we know, folks, are making us fat too. But those carbs are used to then get the cow really fat before you kill.
Yeah.
So grass finished is what you want. When you go to a restaurant, oh yeah, we got grass-fed meat. Is it grass finished? 100% of the waiters will tell you, oh, I don't know, I'll go ask. 100% of the owners will go, I have no idea, say yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know a restaurant, and I go into a few of them out here.
Yeah.
I don't know a restaurant who has grass-finished meat, or I would be eating it every day.
You brought up a good point, though, about grass-fed. Like, I wonder what stipulations are in place to call an animal grass-fed. Like, do they have to eat a certain amount of grass and they can eat, corn and feed and all that other crap?
Well, I know with the chickens, it's a joke.
Right,
Free range.
Exactly. That's why
You could have like a 2x4.
Oh, look at that picture.
corn-fed versus grass-fed.
You
Wow.
can see.
Yeah, you can see it.
To
for
be
sure.
candid with you, when Ruth and I, Mom and I buy grass-fed, it looks horrible and it's chewy.
Yeah.
But the one on the left up there, top right, the one on the left looks really good to me. That's what I used to eat.
Yeah.
And you're eating zeranol, which, by the way, along comes a company, a pharmaceutical company, and says this zearalenone is natural. It comes from fusarium mold. Let us make a synthetic. And it's according to the FDA, it's 3 to 4 times more powerful than zearalenone. And we're putting this now. Having said that, the FDA has said, no, this is not. It's not enough in there to cause any harm. And we're seeing 9-year-olds with pubic hair, and they're telling us this is just normal.
Yeah.
One of the things I think is important to note, too, about this corn-fed versus this grass-finished cow is that the red colors are much deeper, so the blood must have a lot more nutrients in it, right? And it's also, if you look at the difference, the corn-fed cow looks like somebody that's metabolically unhealthy.
If I were a person,
there's a lot of fat around it.
Intramuscular fat, and it tastes amazing, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's also a metabolically unfit cow.
Hey, Brett, do you know where the mycotoxins end up, like the zearalenone? They all end up in the fat.
Okay.
Remember years ago, the cardiologist told us, well, trim the fat off your steak, which fat is one of my favorite parts.
Right.
Trim it off your steak. Look at the one on the right.
Yeah.
They aren't backing up with they're not making a ton of fat because they're not eating a lot of carbs. They're eating grass the way the good Lord intended. Somebody needs to ask. Remember you guys, the prodigal son? I am, by the way. Don't ever tell Mom I told you. I am that prodigal son. I think, to a certain extent we all are. When he comes home, he's had it. He's broke. He comes home and Dad steps off the porch and he doesn't get a slingshot and pop him. He runs out, embraces him, and said, you were lost, and now you're found. And then what came next in the Bible?
Slaughter the fatty calf.
Slaying of the fattest calf.
Yeah. The best one.
Best
That's right.
one.
The best one.
He's home. I'm crying. I'm thrilled. Welcome home, son. And the Bible didn't go on to say, his son died of atherosclerosis, and the dad was 400 pounds overweight.
Cholesterol was high.
Right, his cholesterol was high. No.
Yeah.
It's just in medicine, we must first create a problem, right? Then we must tell people that we're responsible for fixing that problem.
Yeah. You're not going to give your clients a solution to not come back and buy again.
I just read an article, you guys, it was so funny. It said, how to manage, it was in a medical journal that I get, how to manage your patient's diabetes. Can I cross that word manage and put fix?
Yeah. Right. It's like, why aren't people thinking like that? Why aren't doctors thinking like that?
We're dumbed down, Evan. We're dumbed down.
I mean, there's really no other excuse for it other than that. I think you're right.
But Evan, if if money is important, I bet you your bank account doesn't have $4.5 trillion in it.
It doesn't.
Yeah, mine is close, but it's generating huge amounts of money. A loving mom took me to a loving pediatrician who told me, man, my tonsils are inflamed. I've got to have them out.
Yeah.
Did I? It's an infection. Wouldn't antibiotics have taken them down? The answer is yes. But along then, I was drinking tons of pasteurized milk and eating meat long before zeranol came along. But before zeranol, you'll notice restaurants are now saying, no antibiotic free.
Right.
Turns out zeranol, being the steroid, a hormone, makes the cow grow just as fast. So we're good to our public. We're taking antibiotics out.
That's what exactly. That's the part that I'm a little bit, I think, worried about, is just making sure that you are buying the cleanest stuff. The healthcare industry is worth $808 billion in the United States as of 2021. 65% of the industry's revenue comes from patient care. Wow.
So half $1 trillion a year.
What's the other half from, do you think? Or the other 35%?
Drug intervention, surgical. No, that's patient care. From patient care. What do you think, Brett?
I don't know.
65. Where's the other 35%?
What defines patient care, Brett?
Yeah.
See if you can look that up.
What does that say? 2024 profit forecast. Oh, yeah, no.
Size of U.S. healthcare industry market
It
size.
says the global healthcare industry is worth $12 trillion. That's estimated.
And okay, go. That's perfect. Thank you. Did we not read right before that half of it was this little country called America?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So the rest of the globe spends what, 8 trillion, and we spend 5? Isn't that nuts? And are we the healthiest people in the world?
Not even close.
Well,
right?
in the previous show, we discussed ingredients that are illegal in other countries that we use in abundance here.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Hey, can we talk about something that comes up at every lecture? When I used to go and lecture to, large numbers of people, cancer screenings.
How does that work?
So, pap smear,
Oh, okay.
prostate exam, mammogram, standing naked before a dermatologist and having him look at your moles. Where's you guys' heart on that, Brett?
Standing naked?
No.
Having a guy look at your moles? Where's your heart on that?
Curious.
You're not my son.
I was checking the cameras. I totally blanked out.
We're talking about cancer screenings, which is billion-dollar industry, colonoscopies. I had someone yesterday on my live show, Doug, I'm 54 now. My doctor wants to get a colonoscopy. Listen, and you can't, I've done this for half a century. You can't impose your viewpoints on someone else. If your doctor wants you to get a colonoscopy, there's probably a reason for it. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And then the inevitable question is, have you had one?
Yeah.
No. Do you get your prostate checked? No. What would happen if my prostate had problems? Well, it'd be uncomfortable sitting. You'd be up 3 to 5 times a night urinating. You'd have pain. Okay, no. I mean, it's so amazing to me how what does a doctor do? He needs to find something wrong.
Well, that's exactly the problem, right? If you go in and do a test like that and your doctor says, hey, the results came back and it looks a little scary, let's do this. You're probably not going to question it, right? You're just going to say, shoot, scary, I'm out. Okay, fine. When you don't really, I don't think we know the right questions to even ask. I know I don't. Like, I don't know what to ask. Okay, so how much is it elevated? What should, again, symptoms. What do I look for? What should be scaring me with this, right? It's like we're not trained to ask the right questions. Now, it's a good thing that we have people like you on the show that can help us with that. But I think in general, like, the idea is if a doctor tells you, hey, we did a test, the results look a little bit bad, we need to, do surgery or this or that, your gut instinct is to kind of go with that. And so, I don't know. It's a scary thing for sure.
Thomas Pynchon, I read this book so many years ago, wrote a book called Gravity's Rainbow. And in the book, there was a question. If they can get you asking the wrong questions, they never have to provide an answer.
Man.
And I think in medicine, Evan, your PSA level, you're a young man. Normal folks, by the way, is 0 to 4 on a PSA. And when you're younger, 2. your PSA is 6, and I'm really worried about that. I want to do a digital rectal exam. I want to maybe take a biopsy. And you're sitting there, what?
Yeah.
I just thought I'd come in today because I'm getting a checkup.
Right.
And doctors are relying on unreliable tests. Yeah. I think most doctors will tell you that. There are no givens when we're talking about breast. I just said 58% of our mammograms are reliable.
Yeah.
The other 42%, false positive, false negative.
Yeah.
And yet we pretend, we never give the patient that info. If you went in and you learned that the PSA test was 25% accurate, which...
Is that about right?
Well, so the guy that I met when I was in Vietnam in 1970, Dr. Richard Ablin was a young doctor, University of Tucson, Arizona. He discovered the PSA molecule.
Mm-hmm.
And he said in his book, it's a wonderful book, something about, just look up Richard Ablin, A-B-L-I-N, Dr. Richard Ablin, and PSA book. It's a red book. It talks about how that PSA test has mutilated and killed unnecessarily so many men. He says that the digital rectal exam for prostate problems is 1% effective. He shelved the test. He said, this isn't prostate specific. By the by, pregnant women have high PSAs. They don't own a prostate. You talk about a rigged test.
Wow.
But if the naming of it is wrong, how accurate can it be? But the FDA said, well, I'll be darned. The PSA test is 300% more reliable than our best screening, a finger. So how accurate did they find the PSA test? 3%.
That is a rabbit hole worth going down. That's crazy.
I'm telling you guys, just be careful. And here's the deal. Most prostate infections, like most dental infections, treat them with an antibiotic or an antifungal, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother sidebar. By the way, the most common fungus that impregnates or gets into the prostate is Candida albicans.